And then again, I think one thing with horrible bosses is they always make you feel like you're the one that is doing something wrong.
Have you heard any of those phrases, buses from hell? Or a more interesting one, if the devil can't get you, he sends Cassandra. Those words are made up. Still, it does not change the fact that some bosses are sociopaths climbing the corporate ladder. The point is that the devil sends you a horrible boss to frustrate you, pushing you off a tipping point till you land in an asylum. This is what working in some public or private sector workspaces in Nigeria can do to you. For a while, the hashtag horrible bosses flooded the Nigeria social media space. Employees took to social media to lament the horrible working conditions they experience or have experienced in a bid to make a living and survive the crumbling economy in Nigeria.
I had a job last year, but I had to quit after the first month because I couldn't just do, you get. So I had to resume work 9 to 7 p.m., 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., Monday to Thursday. Then Friday, Saturday, 9 to 11 p.m. And after much complaints, it was now made 9 p.m. or 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on Friday and Saturday. So the only time I had to rest was on a Sunday. Me mentally, because I was always tired, number one. And then my boss at the time was not even willing to, listen or see it from our perspective. Where I work is very far. So imagine me going back home. And then at the end of the day, I get paid 60,000 naira. So if I'm paid 60,000 naira, at the end of the day, I will feed myself, I will transport myself, and the hours are very long. So it didn't even give me time to, to run my other businesses and everything. And I'm like, oh, no, I can't do this. So it affected me mentally because I was always tired. I started getting depressed. That was just the honest truth. So after the first month, I just, resigned and all of those things.
From overbearing and abusive bosses to exploitative working hours, being underpaid or not paid when due, and in worst case scenarios, no payment. Nigerian employees complain of being undervalued, unjustly fired, and harassed in the workspace. The list is endless. Bosses lashing out and gaslighting employees to hideous tales that leaves one jaw-dropped as to the extent of emotional, mental, and psychological torture experienced in some workspace. And Bassi is a human resource personnel. She gives a brief insight on how a toxic work environment can affect the mental health and general output of an employee in a workspace. She also speaks on ways the mental health of an employee can be improved.
When a staff feels overwhelmed with their tasks, sometimes burnout rates can be so high where there's a higher mental health risk. So when a staff feels overwhelmed with their tasks, there will definitely be a depreciation in their outputs. I feel the first step to improving mental health in the workplace is first to stop with the stigmatization placed on people who openly declare their mental health challenges. They're probably seen as weak or incompetent, forgetting that this can actually happen to anybody. Because people are going through different challenges in their personal lives, and the last thing they need is to come into a work environment and not feel at ease. Then also an organization can adopt a different work arrangements, maybe flexible work hours, and maybe remote work requests options for employees, so that when they feel overwhelmed and stressed, they can actually opt to work remotely, which can allow them be in their own comfort, the comfort of their home, and still deliver on the job. And that kind of creates a balance for them.
On the role of the HR in tackling sexual harassment and harassment in general in the workspace, she said,
most standard organizations should have a sexual harassment policy, and the onus falls on the human resources manager to create a clear reporting guideline for people who may have experienced sexual harassment. He or she can even go as far as setting up an email where people can easily drop their reports there, and those situations can be handled discreetly. So when it has to do with bosses or senior managers, I don't think it's anything special, because whatever policy is guiding the organization would also guide such a situation should it occur, such an incident should it occur. So whether it be a boss or a senior manager, it actually makes no difference when it's with regards to sexual harassment, because all the HR needs to do is just to follow the policy and ensure that the situation is tackled. And
Here is what she said about improving the welfare and salaries of employees.
the HR can actually negotiate for better rates for employee insurance, group insurance, for retirement plan, and also for health insurance. So those are the areas he or she can negotiate for an improved rate for employees. And in terms of compensation or salary, there could be recommendations for salary realignment or promotion or review, whatever be the case. But such recommendations can come from the HR department.
Harassment could be between a boss and a junior worker, or between contemporaries. The National Industrial Court has exclusive jurisdiction in matters relating to or connected with any labor, employment, trade union, industrial relations, and issues arising from the workspace. But obtaining justice for the employee at the National Industrial Court is not always a straightforward affair. Therefore, the employee feels helpless and tossed around the chessboard of the labor market. What role does the NIC play in ensuring justice for employees?
So the NIN, the National Industrial Court, plays an independent, neutral and unbiased role with regards to disputes between employers and employees in a work environment. So either the employer or the employee who feels that his rights, privileges are being breached can approach the NIN. So the jurisdiction is very wide. So if you feel that you're being sexually harassed, if you feel that you're being kept in the office for indecent hours, during indecent hours, if you feel that you're not necessarily safe, your general welfare, anything, in as much as it is within the confines of employer-employee relationship, you can approach the NIC to file a complaint and they would handle your matter expeditiously.
What is the role of the government in enforcing labor laws?
To point out is creating laws is one aspect, enforcement is another aspect.
The million-dollar question is, if some companies are toxic, why do people still work there or stay back? First, there is the inequality of the supply and demand for talent. This reason makes some employers feel like the alpha and the omega of an employee. Then again, there are gaps and unclear rules in the labor laws. These loopholes are often exploited by employers to exact their supreme rule over their employees.
The bosses out there, please be more subtle and more nice. You have no idea what your workers are doing behind the scenes for your company.
Whether it has to do with bad governance or horrible bosses, one thing is sure about Nigerians. If they have one's fruit of the spirit at work in them, it has to be long-suffering, which is often to their peril.